Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this new video around my campaign Operation Dark Winter. Today we are doing the briefing for mission number 12. But before that, actually, in the last mission, we just gained 2 modules in addition to unlocking Roy Benitez, which is the leader of the Joint Task Force. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually to roll to define what those 2 models are. So we'll place on screen the table I'm using to define the type of model, and here I'm just going to just roll for those 2 models. So rolling, we have a 6 and a 2, that means we have 2 combatant characters. Now a second roll will define the type of model. And a 6 and a 5, oh my god, so we have 1 division agent and 1 special forces, or SWAT, so that's pretty cool. I will select the models and just show you which model will join my force. So this is the 2 models that we just gained. On the right here we have the division agent, on the left we have a SWAT officer. One of them is injured. I will roll a die to define that. On a 1, 2, 3 it will be the SWAT guy, and on a 4, 5, 6 it will be the division agent. And it again, 1 more division agent that is injured. We definitely need to improve our medical wing inside our base of operation. Talking about our base of operation, here it is. So now we just unlock the security wing. The security wing grants me access to Roy Benitez, which is a leader and will give 1 stat point to all my models. So that's pretty cool. In addition to that, let's have a look at the different wing we have available. Extension that we have available. In the briefing room, at the start of a mission, I can move up to 2 tokens that are placed on adjacent tiles from the deployment zone wherever I want on the board. So that's pretty cool. I can basically clear a bit the area where I will be deployed. After that, we have the radio station. If I place 1 civilian at the radio station, at each turn I will roll a die, and on a 5+, I'm gaining 1 new GTF model, so that's a cool way to gain new models. Then we have the training room. Here basically I can affect some model to gain stat point, and each stat point use a different resource to be leveled up. So let's pretend you have a model which have only 1 in command. If you want to reach level 2, he will need to spend 2 intels. Another example, if 1 model have 4 in shooting, if you want to raise up to level 5, if you want to have 5 points in shooting, I will need to spend 5 ammo to train that model in that specific new skill. So that's pretty a lot of resources, but that's a cool way also to affect some people in the base in case we have resource to spend here. Then we have the control room. The control room, when rolling on the loot table, you can pick an adjacent square instead of the one you rolled. So that's really cool, because right now in a lot of roll I'm just failing when I gather some resources. So this will give me way more chance to find some cool loot. So we'll see. Maybe we are going to be having a look at that extension. We have the Dark Zone Ops Center, so that's basically the room that unlocks the Dark Zone. And without that I can't enter the Dark Zone, so I will need to build that at some point if I want to reach the middle of the board. Then we have the drone control station. If I build that and if someone is in that room, it will grant me 1 intel point at the end of each turn, so it's a solid income of intel also. Then we have the procurement team. Procurement team are civilians that are sent into the city to gather some weapon or equipment. So basically when I have 1 equipment, 1 civilian affected in that room, it will allow me to draw 1 standard card. If there are 2 civilians that are sent in a mission, they will grant me the ability to draw 1 superior card, and if I send 3 of them, I can draw 1 high-end card. And I can choose weapon or equipment. So that's also pretty cool. Actually, I just forgot that before that we have the aid distribution center. If I build that extension, when doing the roll to convince civilian to join my base, I will get a +1, so more chance for civilian to come inside the base. Then we have the supply line. I can ask for supplies to be dropped on the board at turn D6. So at some point on a mission, an airdrop of supplies can come in, and the enemy will go toward it, so it can be used as a diversion, but it can also be really great to gain a lot of resources. Then we have the crafting station. The crafting station can build pipe bomb. At the armory we can build silencer, and in the Kydex workstation we can build some holster. So that's a lot of great stuff inside that security wing. But right now what I want to focus on is on the medical wing. We want to improve that quite a bit. And what do we need? Here we have the pharmacy. When I build the pharmacy, it will grant me a few objects. It's not what I want right now. I want that. I want the intensive care that will allow the GTF model to heal faster. -1 day in recovery time for one model after using medicine. And I have quite a lot of medicine. So that will be a great idea to build that extension to heal my model faster in the future. So yeah, let's start to build stuff. First thing I'm going to do is take one civilian, affect it to this intensive care. Intensive care, I need 1 fuel, 1 building material, 1 medicine and 2 intel. So in red are all the resources that we used in the last mission. We can now remove that. So we use 4 food because we have a lot of people working inside our base, so that consumes a lot of food, plus the guy that are sent in a mission. We spend 1 fuel because we chose our point of entry using some vehicles, so we needed some fuel. We also... Ooh. We don't have any more ammo, so that's not really great. Anyway, we have a couple of rooms. We have the black market and the trade center that will allow me to trade some cards and some resources. So we'll do that just later, just after that. First, the intensive care. So 1 fuel, 1 building material, 1 medicine, and 2 intel. So I don't have any food right now, so I will need to take one of my guys, send him into the kitchen. So here I send 1 guy in the kitchen, it will produce 2 food, and we have also the rain collector that will produce 2 food. And I will need to work on the garden soon. So here we basically just created 4 food, so let's first take that. So now to build the extension in the medical bay, I need 1 fuel, 1 food, right? 1 fuel. Ah, I didn't need any food. Oh, my bad, my bad. I don't need any food. Okay. I need 1 fuel. I already removed it. 1 building material, removed. 1 medicine, removed. 2 intel. Oh, we are pretty low on intel now. So now we are building the intensive care. That's okay. Next thing I'm going to do is... I actually need someone in the medical bay to divide by 2 the recovery time of any number of GTF model, and yeah, I didn't do that in the last turn. Now when I'm doing that, I will divide by 2 the recovery time of the different models, so we'll see the roster just after. So we have that building, we have the virus lab. The problem is that if I want to send a lot of people in mission, I can't affect too much civilian inside our base, but except if we have enough food, and right now we don't, so we will need to build that to produce more food. So 3 building material, 1 food, 1 medicine. 3 building material, 1 food, 1 medicine. So let's build that, and let's affect a civilian over here. Yeah, so next turn we should be pretty good on food. Yeah, let me pause the camera and have a think of what else I can do. Actually, I won't be doing anything else. I have 4 civilians working in my base. That means that I can send 1, 2, 3. I can send only 8 models into the next mission. So that should be enough, but I don't want to place more civilians in the base to work and have less people in that next mission. So yeah, that's it for the base. Now let's have a look at our roster, and actually now let's first have a look at our map and select the next mission. So as you know, in red are all the missions in the easy difficulty, and I want to finish all of them before jumping to the green region, which is a bit harder. So I have like 3 different missions I can do. I can either do the Govarius mission, that will grant me 2 superior cards, and that will also display all the enemy at the start of the next mission. So that's pretty cool. I'm probably going to use that before doing a mission against a stronger enemy faction, like the rioters that are just next here. Going to leave that for now. In Bedford-Stuyvesant we can gain 1 division character, 1 gas mask, and 2 civilian vehicles. That could be great too. And in Williamsburg here we can we unlock that next mission, and we gain 2 superior cards and 1d6 intel. That could be great. And what that last mission gives us 2 high-end cards, 1 SHD skill, and 3 resource. So that's cool. I think we are going to do the Williamsburg mission. Yeah, we are going to do that mission next. And yeah, what is the goal? We need to find information on the location of an enemy leader. Basically, I will place 5 false objectives in 5 different buildings on the board, and when I move inside each of these buildings, I will check if that's the actual objective. And when I find the objective, I will just need to extract with it. It's basically a pile of intel on the location of an enemy leader. So that's our objective for the next mission. We are going to do the Williamsburg mission. And now let's have a look at our roster. Quick look at our roster. Nick Hayat is not injured anymore. That means that he's back for that next mission. We have Dan Espinosa that is still injured, but basically since we have enough people working inside our base of operation, this divide by 2. But since he's only 1 day left, yeah, he will be still injured for that turn. Here we divide by 2, so how many left does Duke Sutton need to be healed? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So basically I'm just going to remove the last 4 days over here. Oh, nope, that way. So he's uninjured for that number of turns. Same thing over here. This guy was less injured, so we are here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can remove 3 days. And here is the 2 guys we just gained, the elite division agent and the SWAT officer, and it's actually the division agent that is injured, not the SWAT guy. So doing that here, actually here he was locked. And here same thing, just going to divide by 2 the recovery time. And here we go. So for that next mission, I just wanted to show you that we still have quite a few people that are injured, including 3 elite division agents and 1 police officer. Yeah, so now let's have a look at the different models instead of that roster. So before actually showing you the model that will be deployed in that next mission, the 2 models that I just gained comes also with some starting gear. So the SWAT officer will start with a superior card. So that's a pretty cool one. Larue, Predat, OBR, compact red sight, rapid fire, grip and flashlight. So that's a really cool weapon. He's definitely going to be deployed with that, even though there is no suppressor. Yeah, we'll see. And the Elite Division Agent, which is injured, comes equipped with, ooh, cool, AKS Zenitco. So that's cool. So actually we have two new cool weapons that we can equip on some of our model. Also the Division Agent come with some Division Tech. Let's grab that deck. So here I have my deck of Division Tech. Since he is elite, he will start with two Division Tech. And what do we have here? We have a Crusader Shield. It's a deploy shield that grants +1 in defense to the model using it and that allows the use of the primary weapon. Oh, so that's cool. So as you can see here, he can equip his primary on this side of the shield over here. So that's pretty cool. And then we have the Reviver Hive deployable. Stop bleeding on all friendly model within 6 inches of the hive. It also removes any stun effect. Okay, so now that's two really cool Division Tech. We'll see if we are going to leave it on him or going to use on some of the Division Agent that will be deployed that mission. And yeah, let's have a look at the model that we have now. So that's all the model that we have available for that next mission, but we can only send 8 actually in that mission because we don't have enough food. So what I'm definitely going to be sending is Ryan Marquez, the agent of the division. I'm going to send Nick Hayat, my just recovered division agent. I'm going to send my newly acquired Chris Sanchez with his La Rue Predato-Bière. Same for that other SWAT guy, Jim Street, with the Silence AKM. In addition, what I'm going to send, definitely Jim Hopper with the shotgun. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What else? Maybe a couple of, yeah, I don't have. Let me gather my thoughts and think of what I'm going to do. And we are good. So here I have my 2 division agents. Each of them is equipped with a silence pistol. One of them have an LMG. One of them have that battle rifle. The 2 SWAT officers, we have 1 AKM, silence AKM, 1 PP2000, also silence. And on secondary, we have the La Rue, Predato-Bière, and the Fab Defense Glock 18. Jim Hopper is equipped with his shotgun, and I will probably find just a pistol for him too. Next, we have Alex Murphy with the Banshee silence, with the RPK also. And then we have 2 of the National Guard equipped with bulb-up weapons, a Groza and a Zusat. Each of them have also on the side a pistol, and I decided to leave on the side the 3 different civilians. So let's just grab a quick pistol for my SWAT guy, and he will be equipped with a Beretta M9 in addition to the shotgun, which is great for a police officer. And that's it. We are now good to go for that next mission. Thank you everyone for joining me for this new mission briefing, and I will see you next one for the battle report for mission number 12. And actually, before I leave you, here is just a quick look at the board we are going to play on for that next mission. So it's divided in 3 blocks. We have that first block, a road, a second block, another road, and a third block. Here we have the military that try to contain the area, creating. They were in the process of creating that the ESCO barrier around that area. Here we have plenty of dead bodies. On the back over here we have plenty of different objects, different scattered terrain. And yeah, the objective will be in one of those 5 buildings. This one is condemned, so you can't enter that one. So it will be in one of the other buildings. And yeah, we'll see you guys in that next battle report, and we'll see where I'm going to be deployed.